At school, Marione-chan had lived in the same kind of environment as I did. Compared to the other kids in her class, Marione-chan's tempo was always a little slow. Her sensibilities and ways of viewing things were a little peculiar, and a little too idiosyncratic for her to blend in. Her grades were low as well, and since she was talkative about everything related to the occult, her specialty, she was treated like a weirdo by everyone else in class. If you were touched by Marione-chan, you'd be cursed. Stuff like that. You mother... How dare you bully my little homie like that? Apparently everyone in her class acted like she was disgusting, made fun of her and avoided her. Son of a bitch! I'm throwing hands. I'm throwing hands. Who's getting it? Who's getting it? Point him out. I'll assault children. I don't give a shit. If they're coming after my little homie Maria, it's on sight. If a boy bumped into Marione-chan, he'd start rubbing that part against the other boys as if he'd gotten some scum on him. They'd pick up her stuff like it was something filthy and chase the other boys around with it. Seems the girls thought even speaking to her was unpleasant, so they ignored her all the time, only giggling and sneering at her whenever she made a mistake. Motherfuckers.
いじめっていつの時代も似たようなものなのね。人間ってほんと進化しないの。滅べばいいのに。
マリアはいじめられて悲しいけど、でも
仕方ない？どうして？だ
ってクラスには一人いじめられっ子がいないといけないってルールなんだもん。
I'm pretty sure that's some bullshit someone told you to make you not complain about it.
最低なルールね。それを作ったやつの後頭部をレンガで殴ってやる。
Hell yeah. Let him know, Angie.
もちろん角で。
Using the corner, of course. My girl.
もしもマリアがいなくなったら、きっとマリアの代わりに新しい誰かが新しいいじめられっ子に選ばれ、マリアが我慢することで、マリアはその子をかばってあげられるの。
As she said that, she smiled faintly. Marione-chan's way of thinking really is unusual. According to her, from the beginning, a witch had resided in that place called a school. No, she says that any place where a lot of people gather will have a witch residing there. The witch tries to steal the students' souls through death by disease or accidents. Apparently, she sometimes also corrupts those souls, leading them down that path of evil. She says that an angel came, not content to let that continue.
天使様はね、魔女をやっつけようとした。でも魔女は兄弟で、戦いは7日7番に及んだんだけど、それでも決着しなかった。疲れ切った魔女は休戦しようと言ってこう提案したの。
前に聞いたわ。私はこれまでクラスの生徒の半分を、でもその代わりに残りの半分の生徒は病気と怪我から守ってきました。だからもしもクラスの一人を私への生贄にいじめられっ子にしてくれるなら、その他全員の生徒を病気や怪我から守りましょう。だったっけ？
天使様は考えたの。クラスの半分が不幸になることに比べたら、それに魔女はその強力な力で他全員の
クラスに40人の生徒20人の犠牲者が1人に減って、実に合理的な提案。
I wonder if there's some theme behind this fairy tale. If it's a creation by Marione-chan, a 9-year-old, that'd be pretty impressive.
天使様はその提案を飲むことにした。だから一人の生贄によって19人は救われた。だからマリアの役割は大切なの。魔女は19人を守ってる。
私たちが生贄になることによってその19人に感謝された覚えはないけれど。
Marione-chan's idea was too compassionate. Both of us are suffering from a similar type of misfortune. Misfortune! And yet maybe a small difference in our way of thinking changes how peaceful our hearts are.
それでマリアお姉ちゃんは悲しくないの？
悲しくなんかないよ。だってこれからはサク太郎が一緒だもんね。サク太郎、ウィリアム、マリアと一緒なら僕も元気。ほら、サク太郎も元気って言ってるよ。
Mariona-chan hugged the Sakataro stuffed animal, playing both sides of the conversation herself. I don't understand it, but that's exactly why I want to reach Mariona-chan's level. We should all strive to achieve Maria's level. The world would be a much better place. So I was intensely drawn to her tale and her words.
エンジェは一人ぼっちだから辛い？
辛いわ。でもマリアお姉ちゃんとこうしていられる時間だけは別。一人ぼっちじゃないから。なら
サクタラもお友達になればもっと楽しくなるよ。うん。じゃあ今日からサクタラもエンジの新しいお友達だよ。ね、
Such a fucking sweetheart.
サクタラ。フリュウ、僕エンジェのお友達？フリュウ、エンジェ。
Skillfully moving the stuffed animal like it was a puppet, Maria One-chan expressed Sakataro's emotions. She was controlling him, but the charming way he waved his short hand and cocked his head to the side made it feel like he really was a new friend called Sakataro. Of course, looking at it with cold eyes, it would only appear that Maria One-chan was comforting me when I was grumpy. But a soul had definitely been sent into that stuffed animal. The soul of Maria One-chan's love. Ah. So I acknowledged the existence of a being called Sakataro inside that stuffed animal.
ほら、エンジェもサクタロに挨拶して。ほら、サクタラもご挨拶。フリュウ、エンジェ、怖い人？
As Sakataro timidly looked at me, he unexpectedly met my gaze and hid behind Maria One-chan's back in surprise. Maria One-chan really is good at playing with stuffed animals.
大丈夫だよ、サクタラ。エンジェは怖くないよ。とっても優しい女の子だよ。うん。どうも、サクタロウです。ウリュウ。
はじめまして、サクタロウ。エンジェよ。新しいお友達になれて嬉しいわ。
I held out my hand as though asking for a handshake. Sakataro's short hand was stuck out towards me, lightly touching my index finger. After all, when a human and a stuffed animal shake hands, their sizes are too different. This greeting by touching each other's fingers was our handshake.
これでもうエンジェとサクタロはお友達だよ。一人よりは二人、二人よりは三人の方がもっと楽しいよ。ウリュウ。
Mariana-chan had given the name Sakataro to the stuffed animal she was to receive on her birthday, and had warmed and expanded his existence in her heart for a long, long time. Therefore, even before she met him, his existence was sublimated into a personality. Even at the first moment they met, they were already friends. Of course, there wasn't anything extraordinary in Mariana-chan's eyes, although I don't think she'd personified and loved anything quite as much as Sakataro. She loved the things she owned very much, treating them just like friends or beloved pets. Maybe Aunt Rosa hadn't let her keep a pet at some point in time, so she felt like treasuring objects instead. And maybe she was so isolated that she'd been forced to find a friend nearby. Because of all that, what happened that day wasn't anything extraordinary from her perspective. Even so, Sakataro... No, maybe I should call it Sakataro, like Maria One-chan. There's no doubt that Sakataro was a stuffed animal. No, a friend whom she loved more than anything, or anyone.
もしもし、ママよ。上機嫌ね。お友達が来てるの？
サクタロと遊んでるの。サクタロったらね。
It was already about 9 o'clock at night. Rosa had asked because this wasn't a good time to have a friend over. She'd been just a little surprised. But when she thought about it, Maria didn't have any friends who would come over to play, did she? Aww. Even so, to think that she'd have so much fun playing with that stuffed animal. Rosa was very pleased that Maria had liked her birthday present so much.
ママ、どうしても仕事が片付かなくて。来期のラインナップが難航してるの。ようやく少しずつ注目され始めたみたいで、 なんとかここで期待に応えられるインパクトを。
今夜もお泊まり？いいよ、頑張ってママ。
Oh, Maria.
そう、ありがとうねマリア。ママのお仕事のことを分かってくれて
Rosa never deserved
あり
Maria.
がとう。
Rosa was surprised that Maria had accepted so easily that she wouldn't be able to come home from work. To Rosa, having to tell Maria that she'd been coming home late or staying overnight was a huge burden. Maria would start crying about how lonely she was on the other end of the phone, and took a lot of time and effort to calm her down. To think that Maria would accept it in such high spirits. Is this also thanks to Sakataro? Rosa was once again pleased that she'd given her daughter such a good present.
明日のこの時間には帰れるようにするわ。明日は一緒に夕食をとりましょう。マリアは夕食はまだよね。コンビニでお弁当買ってきて食べてね。お菓子はダメよ。お釣りと一緒にレシートも入れておくのよ。
サクタロとお買い物、サクタロとお買い
Maria.
こら、サクタロはダメよ。お留守番させなさい。
From Maria's manner of speech, Rosa got the feeling that Maria might have gone shopping with that stuffed animal without her knowing about it. Rosa's forehead creased, and after sadly saying that Maria definitely mustn't do that, she hung up.
物。おお、サクタロとお買い物、ダメだってママに言われた。
ウリュウ、マリアとお買い物に行けない。一人でお留守番、寂しい。
なんでママ、サクタロとお買い物行こう。
ウリュウ、きっと僕がマリアと一緒に。
恥ずかしい。なんで？
ママはよく僕を外に連れて行マリアのことをよく、もう何歳になったんだからダメ。
マリアはサクタロと一緒で全然恥ずかしくないよ。
僕はライオンだけど、
ライオンでぬいぐるみだけど、マリアのお友達だよ。
Stop, my
だ
heart.
から一緒にお出かけしよう。ママがいない時だけ内緒で。お、ひょっとしてサクタロも恥ずかしい？
僕は恥ずかしくないけど、ウリュウ、ちょっとお外の人が怖い。
そっか。じゃあサクタロが怖くなくて一緒にお出かけできるようにする。マリアに任せて。便利なのがあるの。
Maria started fishing around her messy room. Rose often told her to clean it up, but Maria apparently didn't like doing it. However, Maria herself knew more or less where everything was. So much so that if it were to be cleaned up, she would have trouble finding where anything was.
ほら見てサクタロ、ラップザック。
Maria proudly held it up high. Sakataro looked at the knapsack, which was gaping open, squirming as though saying, "Are you serious?"
ウリュウ、マリア、もしかして。
これなら一緒にお買い物に行けるし、サクタロも怖くないよ。
Maria held Sakataro up and started stuffing him into the knapsack. At first she tried to stick him in head first, but then he'd be upside down and suffocate. So she pulled him out and tried pushing him in again, feet first.
ウリュウ、きつい、狭い。ウリュウ、
ほら、大丈夫だよ。頭を出せば狭くないし暗くないから怖くない。景色もいいよ。
ウリュウ、本当だ。これならマリアと一緒にお買い物に行っても
大丈夫だよ。今日のお夕食は何がいいかな。さあお出かけしようサクタロ。
マリアお姉さん楽しそう。
Hell yeah, she is.
とっても楽しい。一人だったら寂しくてつまらないことでも、サクタロが一緒なら何でも楽しい。どんな人間のお友達だって夕方になったらお家へ帰らなきゃならない。でもサクタロは帰らないし、いつまでも一緒にいてくれる。一緒にテレビも見るし、お布団の中だって一緒だし、雷が怖い夜には手だって握っていてくれる。クローゼットやベッドの下のお化けだって追っ払ってくれるんだよ。
Hell yeah, he will.
サクタロ頼もしい。
ウリュウ、マリアを怖がらせるお化けは僕ライオンだから勇気を出して追い払っちゃうよ。ウリュウ、ガオー。
They were so close that it made me a little envious. I'm supposedly older now than Maria One-chan was then. Maria One-chan really is my One-chan. I still haven't reached her level. If only I had a friend close by like Sakutaro.
マリアもサクタロもエンジェの身近なお友達だよ。いつもマリアたちはエンジェのすぐそばにいる。
Hell yeah.
でもエンジェの魔法が弱いからこうしてマリアの日記を開かないと知覚できないだけ。
知覚？マリアお姉ちゃんは難しい言葉を知ってるね。
According to her, this world is full of magic and spirits, and there is natural and nearby as a light breeze.
風って普段は気にもしないし見えもしないけれど、お線香の煙とかがたなびくとそれを見ることができるんじゃない？
そうね。そしてそれは見えなくても普段から私たちの身近にある。
そういうこと。マリアもサクタロもいつだってエンジェのすぐ近くで一緒なんだよ。神様や精霊、守護霊も私たちのすぐ身近にいるの。でも意識しないと存在を感じられない。目では見えない風のように。でもそれは確実に私たちの身近にあって、魔力という煙がたなびけば誰にだって見えるものなの。
I thought I'd only be able to meet Maria One-chan while this diary was open. But from what she says, she's always with me. I can meet her at any time if I truly desire to.
マリアは自分の日記に日々の記録と一緒に自分の魂のかけらを残しておいたの。だからこの日記にはマリアの魔法の力が宿ってるの。でもそれはとても微弱なもので、エンジェ以外の人には誰も感じ取れない。
私にだけはわかるの？
だってエンジェはマリアと同じで魔女の力を宿し、エンジェだってちゃんとお勉強すればきっと将来立派な魔女になれるんだよ。
魔女？それは楽しいのかしら？
楽しいよ。そうすれば日記を開かなくてもマリアやサクタロがいつも身近にいるのがわかるようになるよ。そしたら毎日がとっても楽しくなる。そしたらエンジェにマリアは他にもたくさんのお友達。そしたら毎日が忙しくてとっても賑やかになるよ。
それは楽しいかもしれない。マリアお姉ちゃんが残した魔導書も持ってるわ。今度真面目に読んでみるわね。そしたら私も一人ぼっちじゃなくなるかな。
Maria One-chan and Sakutaro said at the same time, after they had developed an interest in the world of witches. Hell yeah. With her knapsack on her back and half of Sakutaro's face peeking out of it, she triumphantly walked through the shopping district late at night. Well, it was that time of day after all. Everyone in the shopping district was either a shop owner lowering the shutters on their shops, or an employee rushing, or else staggering on their way home. Amidst all that, Maria, who was in a good mood like someone on a hike, probably looked quite merry. Every once in a while, passing employees would glance at her back, with the eyes of someone seeing something out of place. Officers giggled at the cute stuffed animal poking its head out of the knapsack. The supermarket had been closed for a while by this time. However, convenience stores, which have been growing in popularity lately, stayed open until midnight. It was very convenient for Maria, whose mother's return was often late. Maria lowered the knapsack from her back and, carrying it like a child in her arms, she headed over to the sweet buns corner. She pointed to a sweet bun she had eaten before, explaining to Sakutaro that this one was delicious, and that one was pretty good too. Sakutaro seemed to be enjoying it a lot.
マリアは3色パンにする。これ一つでね、あんことクリームといちごジャムが食べられるの。でもたまにウグイスあんだったり白あんだったりするの。あんこは1種類でいい。
うりゅう、いろいろ入ってて面白そう。うりゅう。
あとはマリアはフルーツ入ってるけどお菓子じゃないよね。きっとママも大丈夫。サクタロもどれか欲しい？
うりゅう？いいの？お金は大丈夫？
全然。ほら聖徳太子なの。 だからサク太郎にも好きなものを買ってあげられるよ。一緒に食べよう。サク太郎もヨーグルト食べる？
And Maria made to grab another one of the same fruit yogurt. Sakataro bent his head slightly, worried.
でも僕大きいのは食べられないから小さい。
おお、じゃあこの小さいお菓子30円だね。安い。
ウリュ僕はそれでいい。マリアと一緒にヨーグルト。
サク太郎と一緒に
Maria put the three-colored bread and the two yogurts into a shopping basket and brought them to the register. The man running the register had been in charge of the tobacco shop that had been here until last year.
お嬢ちゃん、この時間によく見かけるね。偉いけど、今度からこの時間のお買い物にはお母さんと一緒においでね。
ママがいいって言ったから大丈夫。ママはいつもお仕事で帰りが遅いけど、マリアたちは寂しくなんかないのね、サク太郎。
ウリュ
そっか、そりゃ大変だね。ほら、ジュースを一本おまけしてあげるよ。
The man working at the store took a can of leftover soda or something from behind the register, packed into the bag with everything else.
おじさん、ありがとう。よかったね、サク太郎。
ウリュ
Since she had been told not to buy soda, she couldn't take it back home. So she decided to drink it on her way back, not bring the empty can back home. The vinyl bag with the sweet bun in it around her elbow. Holding the knapsack with Sakataro in it with that same arm and drinking her soda, the two of them walked home.
柚子胡椒ソーダって微妙。サク太郎も飲んでみる？
ウリュウリュウリュウリュわあウリュマリアひどい。まずい。
だよね。
Of course, it's not like she could actually make a stuffed animal drink soda. She just put the can to Sakataro's mouth and pretended to tilt it. But it was fun for Maria to share the taste of this weird drink that she had gotten for free with Sakataro. There was a huge moon in the sky. At times, that moon had been clouded by tears when she'd been unmanageable during Rose's overnight stays, and when she'd been scolded by her mother. But this moon was very warm, and seemed to watch over the two of them as they enjoyed their trip home by themselves. Maria and Sakataro. Ange watched the two of them go from behind. She looked so warm from behind. After looking at the backs of Maria, None-chan, and Sakataro together, it became very hard to remember all of those long nights when she'd cried because her mother couldn't come home. I couldn't say it to Maria One-chan. If I had been in the same position, I may have given a stuffed animal the name Sakataro. But it wouldn't have been anything more or less than a stuffed animal. Anyone can make a relationship that only distracts you from your loneliness. But Maria One-chan was different. Sakataro isn't a stuffed animal or a toy. He's a real friend, far from just distracting Maria from her loneliness. He changed the nights without her mother into a fun time where they could play all by themselves. Was it because Sakataro was a special stuffed animal? Because her mother had made it herself? Because it was very, very cute? Probably not. There's a secret here. It doesn't lie within Sakataro. It probably lies within Maria One-chan.